A Dash of Love Chapter 1, The Spark. The Food Fest Showdown was more than just a competition, it was a battleground. For years, Oceanside's annual festival had drawn the best food trucks from across the state, each vying for the coveted Golden Spatula Award and a cash prize that could transform their business. This year's competition was fiercer than ever, with 10 contenders, each with their own specialty and story. Jasmine Carter pulled her truck, Green Bliss, into her assigned spot just as the sun peeked over the coastal skyline. The scent of saltwater mingled with the aroma of freshly baked bread and sizzling bacon from the neighboring trucks. Jasmine crinkled her nose. "This year, we're winning," she muttered to herself as she unloaded crates of fresh produce and vegan cheeses. No distractions, no drama. Her assistant and best friend, Mia, chuckled from inside the truck. "You say that every year. And every year, something or someone gets under your skin." Jasmine rolled her eyes but didn't reply. She was too focused on arranging her stand, glossy menus, small plates for samples, and a banner that read Green Bliss, food that loves you back. It was all going smoothly until a loud screech of tires interrupted her flow. Jasmine turned to see a sleek black and red food truck backing into the spot beside hers. It was an unnecessarily flashy entrance, the truck emblazoned with flames and the name El Fuego. The driver jumped out, a tall, broad-shouldered man with a cocky grin and a mop of dark curls. He wore a red apron over a black shirt, and his confident swagger screamed trouble. "You've got to be kidding me," Jasmine muttered. She recognized him instantly, Lucas Delgado, the so-called king of tacos. She'd seen him on local TV and Instagram, always flashing that infuriating smile while boasting about his authentic family recipes. "Morning, neighbor," Lucas called out, waving as if they were old friends. "Neighbor?" Jasmine marched over, hands on her hips. "Your truck is parked halfway into my space." Lucas glanced at the encroachment, then shrugged. "I'll move it a few inches." "No big deal." "It's a big deal when I can't set up properly because your ego takes up as much space as your truck," Jasmine snapped. Lucas smirked, clearly unfazed. "Relax, chef. I'll fix it." Jasmine returned to her setup, muttering under her breath about arrogant taco slingers. As Lucas maneuvered his truck, his staff, 2 young men in matching red aprons, began unloading coolers and grills. The air soon filled with the spicy aroma of roasted chilies and simmering meat, making Jasmine's stomach churn. Chapter 2, Sparks turned to flames. By noon, the festival was in full swing. Crowds roamed between the trucks, sampling dishes and chatting with the chefs. Jasmine's avocado sliders and quinoa-stuffed zucchini boats were a hit with the health-conscious crowd. She smiled as customer after customer complimented her creative, plant-based menu. But the laughter and cheers coming from El Fuego grated on her nerves. Lucas had drawn a massive crowd with his flaming hot tacos, a dish he prepared with dramatic flair, tossing spices theatrically into the air. "What's his deal?" Jasmine grumbled, watching as Lucas high-fived a customer. Mia laughed. "You've got to admit, he knows how to work a crowd. Maybe you should try a little showmanship." Jasmine scowled. "I'd rather let my food do the talking." The day took a turn when one of the festival organizers approached with an announcement: the first round of judging had concluded, and 5 trucks had advanced to the semi-finals. Jasmine held her breath as the names were called. Green Bliss. El Fuego. She stopped listening after that. Relief flooded her, followed quickly by irritation. Of course, Lucas had made it through. Chapter 3, Forced Collaboration. The festival's second round introduced an unexpected twist. Contestants would be paired up to create a dish that combined their culinary styles. Jasmine's heart sank when her name was called alongside Lucas's. "This has to be a joke," she muttered. Lucas, grinning, sauntered over. "Looks like the universe wants us to be friends." "Or enemies," Jasmine shot back. The judges gave them 2 hours to prepare their dish. Jasmine immediately suggested a vegan option, but Lucas rolled his eyes. You want to win, right? No one's giving us points for tofu. Excuse me, but tofu when prepared correctly is delicious and versatile, Jasmine argued. Lucas sighed. Fine. What about jackfruit? It's veganish. They eventually settled on jackfruit burrito tacos, combining Lucas's spice blend with Jasmine's expertise in plant-based cooking. The collaboration was tense, with constant bickering over technique and presentation. But when the judges tasted their dish, the room fell silent. This is incredible, one of them said, nodding in approval. For the first time, Jasmine saw a flicker of respect in Lucas's eyes. Chapter 4, The Bond Deepens. Jasmine was surprised to find herself smiling as she cleaned up after the second round. The judges' praise for their jackfruit burrito tacos echoed in her mind. She hated to admit it, but Lucas's spice blend had brought her dish to life. Not bad for a plant-based dish, Lucas said, leaning against the edge of her truck. Not bad for a spice-heavy carnivore, Jasmine shot back, though her tone lacked the bite it usually carried. Lucas chuckled. You know, you're not as uptight as I thought you'd be. And you're not as obnoxious as you seem on TV. Almost. They spent the evening trading stories about their food journeys. Lucas talked about his grandmother, who had taught him how to blend spices and slow-cook meat with love and patience. Jasmine shared how her parents' bakery had been forced to close after a corporate chain moved into their neighborhood. I don't want to be like them, she admitted. Chasing profits at the expense of real food and real people. Lucas nodded, a thoughtful look on his face. I get it. But sometimes, making compromises doesn't mean selling out. It's about survival, too. For the first time, Jasmine wondered if they weren't so different after all. The next day, Lucas invited Jasmine to the farmer's market to source ingredients. Jasmine hesitated but agreed. At the market, they found themselves laughing and experimenting, picking out bold chilies and unique plant-based cheeses. Lucas shocked Jasmine by enthusiastically sampling her favorite vegan dishes, and Jasmine found herself charmed by his willingness to embrace something new. You're full of surprises, she said. So are you, he replied, flashing that infuriatingly handsome grin. Chapter 5, Conflict and Betrayal. By the final day of the festival, Jasmine was starting to feel something more than professional respect for Lucas. But her growing feelings were shattered when she overheard a phone conversation outside his truck. Yeah, I'm still considering the offer, Lucas said. But Quick Bites wants full branding rights. I'm not sure yet. Jasmine froze. Quick Bites? The fast food giant? When Lucas turned and saw her, his expression shifted. Hey, this isn't what it looks like you're selling out. Jasmine snapped. After everything you said about family recipes and staying true to your roots. It's not that simple, Lucas argued. You don't understand what it's like to. I understand perfectly, Jasmine cut him off. You're just like them. You care more about money than food. Lucas's face darkened. And what about you? I heard about your pitch to those investors. You think selling kale to rich people is somehow noble? Don't lecture me about staying true to your roots. The word stung, and Jasmine stormed away, her heart heavy. Chapter 6, The Final Round. The tension between Jasmine and Lucas was palpable as they prepared for the final round. The theme was signature dish, and each chef had to create something that represented their journey and philosophy. Jasmine worked late into the night, perfecting her dish, a vibrant vegan curry infused with spices inspired by Lucas's blend. It was her way of acknowledging what she had learned from him, even if their partnership had ended in anger. Lucas, meanwhile, created a taco that incorporated jackfruit, drawing on Jasmine's plant-based ideas while staying true to his grandmother's cooking techniques. When the judges tasted their dishes, they were visibly impressed. "Both of these dishes are extraordinary," one judge said. "They tell a story, not just of food, but of transformation." The room buzzed with anticipation as the judges deliberated. In the end, they couldn't choose a single winner. This year's Golden Spatula Award goes to both Green Bliss and El Fuego. The crowd erupted into cheers, but Jasmine and Lucas barely noticed. Their eyes met across the stage, a silent acknowledgement passing between them. Chapter 7, Resolution, A New Beginning. After the competition, Jasmine found Lucas sitting by the pier, staring out at the ocean. "Hey," she said softly, sitting beside him. Lucas looked at her, his expression unreadable. "I rejected the quick bites deal." Jasmine's heart swelled with relief. "Why?" "Because I realized I didn't want to lose what makes my food special." "And?" "Because I don't want to lose your respect." Jasmine smiled. "For what it's worth, I withdrew from the investor pitch. I realized I was starting to lose sight of why I started Green Bliss in the first place." They sat in silence for a moment, the waves lapping gently at the shore. "Maybe we're stronger together," Lucas said. "What if we combined our ideas? A fusion truck, your plant-based creativity with my bold flavors." Jasmine raised an eyebrow. "You really think we could pull that off without killing each other?" Lucas grinned. "Worth the risk, don't you think?" The story ends with the grand opening of their new food truck, Fire and Earth. The line stretches down the street as customers eagerly await dishes like veg and chili tacos and smoky jackfruit burritos. Jasmine and Lucas work side by side, their banter filled with affection. "Careful with the spice," Jasmine teases. "And don't skimp on the avocado," Lucas counters. Their journey, full of rivalry, growth, and love, has just begun.